Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. Millions of people worldwide are living today with less water than they need, be it in the world's most prosperous cities or agricultural heartlands. According to the United Nations, nearly 1 billion people lack access to basic drinking water. Women and girls spend an estimated 200 million hours hauling water every day. More than 800 children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea every day due to poor water and sanitation. Just 10 countries account for 60% of the world population without access to clean water. 19% of them live in India. So the next time you leave the tap open while brushing your teeth or bathing, remember that 163 million of our fellow countrymen are living without safe water, a resource which is meant for all. No one should be left behind in accessing and managing the safe water that they need. This is also the theme of World Water Day this year, with the motto, whoever you are, wherever you are, water is your human right. Today in Depth, we talk about the significance of World Water Day, the global water crisis scenario, and the extreme water stress faced by people living in India. We also look at the efforts being undertaken at the global level to conserve water and what we can do to save water at our homes. Since 1993, 22nd March is observed as World Water Day every year. The purpose is to focus on the importance of water and the urgent need to preserve it. Today, across the world, marginalized groups, women, children, refugees, indigenous people, disabled people, and several others face discrimination as they try to access the safe water that they need. Therefore, World Water Day this year aims to tackle the water crisis by addressing the reasons why so many people are being left behind. Water connects every aspect of life on our planet. It is crucial for human survival, healthy ecosystems, socio-economic development, for energy and also food production. But according to reports, 1 in 9 people do not have access to safe water. That is, 844 million people across the globe who are deprived of their right to clean, easily accessible, safe water.
So far, we could understand that water is readily available for every individual citizen, but this is not true. Now, water is not available. If you see, more than 7.1 million people are not getting safe drinking water. By 2030, 700 million people won't be able to get safe drinking water. And the recent example of Cape Town is very evident, suggesting that how a rationing of water has been started. And therefore, we need to respect water. It's very important.
The United Nations defines safe water as that which is free from contamination, accessible on the premises, and available when needed. It has identified several reasons why people do not get safe water. Sex and gender are the foremost reason for discrimination when it comes to accessing clean water. Women and children are the worst affected. Children are more vulnerable to diseases due to dirty water. And women and girls because they carry water for their families for an estimated 200 million hours each day. The lack of water and sanitation locks women in a cycle of poverty. Other reasons for water discrimination include race, ethnicity, religion, birth, caste, language, and nationality. Certain people are particularly disadvantaged due to disability, age, health status, property, tenure, residence, economic, and social status. The United Nations also recognizes environmental degradation, climate change, population growth, conflict, forced displacement, and migration as reasons that affect marginalized groups. The United Nations has long been addressing the crisis caused by insufficient water supply. The United Nations Water Conference in 1977, the International Drinking Water Supply and Sanitation Decade 1981 to 1990, The International Conference on Water and the Environment 1992 and the Earth Summit 1992 all focused on water as a vital resource. The Water for Life International Decade for Action 2005 to 2015 helped 1.3 billion people in developing countries gain access to safe drinking water and drove progress on sanitation as part of the effort to meet the Millennium Development Goals. The most recent initiative is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development that aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water for all by the year 2030. This means leaving no one behind, which is the theme for World Water Day 2019.
No one leave behind. If you see, it is very important to see that how UN Assembly thought about this World Water Day long back in 1993 on 22nd March. And they decided that since water is going away from us very, very fast, therefore it become very important and it is imperative to understand the importance of water, and therefore UN thought of bringing this concept of celebrating World Water Day. And we need to understand that water is not simple liquid, but it is life. And when something becomes life, we need to, address and touch that life-supporting commodity with a lot of respect.
To realize the vision of leaving no one behind, we need to focus on efforts to include marginalized people. The world must ensure that water services reach these groups. Regulatory and legal frameworks must recognize the right to water for all people. They must ensure sufficient funding while effectively targeting those who need it the most. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Water crisis affects every continent and was listed in the year 2015 by the World Economic Forum as the largest global risk in terms of potential impact over the next decade. As more people put ever increasing demands on limited supplies, the problem of water scarcity is growing continuously. In our next report, we look at the global water crisis and how it impacts the growth of a country as well as its people.
Water scarcity is a reality that cannot be overlooked. Millions across the world today are living with less water than they need, whether in the world's most prosperous cities or in its bountiful agricultural heartlands. 1/3 of the global population, that is around 2 billion people, live under conditions of severe water scarcity for at least 1 month of the year. This number is expected to go up to 5 billion by 2050. 500 million people in the world face severe water scarcity all year round. Globally, 844 million people lack access to clean water, out of which 159 million people depend on surface water to meet their basic needs. Over 2 billion people live without access to improved sanitation. Scarcity of clean water is also a health crisis, as statistics indicate that a child dies every 2 minutes from a water-related disease. Without clean, easily accessible water, families and communities are locked in poverty for generations. Children drop out of school and parents struggle to make a living. Women often bear the burden of carrying water for their families for an estimated 200 million hours each day. Each year, at least 1 million people are killed by water, sanitation and hygiene-related diseases. India tops the list of countries with the most number of people living with water scarcity. As many as 1 billion people in India live in areas with physical water scarcity, of which 600 million are in areas of high to extreme water stress. Approximately 330 million people from 302 districts were affected by droughts in 2016, and half of Indian states are prone to floods. Over 21% of the country's diseases are water-related. In 2015, India lost over 1 lakh children under 5 to diarrheal diseases. Water scarcity in India is expected to worsen as the overall population increases by an estimated 1.6 billion by year 2050.
Major big issue is that India is a blessed country. We receive about 1.3 meter rainfall every year. But the issue is its distribution over space and time. If we talk of time, we get about 95% of our rainfall during monsoons. And if we talk about geography, our northeast receives about 13 meters of rainfall every year. That is one of the highest in the world. But parts of Rajasthan are receiving less than 200 millimeter. So they are one of the driest places in the world. So how do you distribute water over space and over the geography of India? Having said that, in terms of groundwater, the issue is overexploitation of groundwater and its contamination. So we have iron, fluoride, mercury in groundwater now. In terms of surface water, the issue is that a lot of lakes and rivers and streams are drying up. Then there is pollution of surface water, and also there are issues of lack of efficiency. And largely these are the issues, and we have to shift from water development to water management today.
Shrinking reservoirs in Morocco, India, Iraq and Spain could spark the next day zero water crisis. As per a report by Niti Aayog, Bengaluru will soon be among one of the 11 cities in the world to run out of groundwater. The report states that day zero will hit Bengaluru and 20 other major cities in India by the year 2020, affecting an estimated 100 million people. This includes the national capital, Delhi. The capital of South Africa, Cape Town, recently grabbed global headlines by launching a countdown to the day when tap water would be cut off to millions of residents as a result of a 3-year drought. Day zero was originally scheduled for April last year but got moved to July on account of severe water rationing, like limiting people to a mere 50 litres per person per day. Taking severe measures to save water, Cape Town has been able to push back day zero. Brazil's Sao Paulo, a mega city of 20 million, faced its own day zero in 2015. The city turned off its water supply for 12 hours a day, forcing many businesses and industries to shut down. In 2008, Barcelona in Spain had to import tankers full of fresh water from France. In 2017, water played a major role in conflict in at least 45 countries, particularly in the Middle East and North Africa. Yemen had the most water-related conflicts, with at least 28 individual events reported. By 2040, it is predicted that 33 countries are likely to face extremely high water stress, including 15 in the Middle East, most of Northern Africa, Pakistan, Turkey and Afghanistan. Many, including India, China, South Africa, USA and Australia, will also face high water stress. Though nearly 70% of the world is covered by water, only 2.5% of it is fresh water. Even then, just less than 1% of the fresh water is easily accessible in lakes and rivers. Of the remaining fresh water, 1/3 is underground water supplies or well springs, while the other 2/3 are locked away in ice caps or glaciers. Physical water scarcity is getting worse due to the growing demand on water resources and by climate and population changes. While the world's population tripled in the 20th century, the use of renewable water resources has grown 6-fold. Within the next 50 years, the world population will increase by another 40 to 50%. This population growth, coupled with industrialization and urbanization, will result in an increasing demand for water and will have serious consequences for the environment. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In the face of a looming global water crisis, it is important to act responsibly. On the domestic front, all of us can take a number of steps to save and conserve water.
.5% of world's water is salty in seas and oceans. The rest, 2.5%, is in ice caps. What we humans depend on is a tiny bit that we get as fresh water. We don't just use it for cooking, we wash in it, clean with it, and use it to produce everything from clothing to food. All of which is putting a great strain on fresh water supplies. Water conservation, therefore, is essential in all regions, even where water seems abundant. Our finite water resources are shrinking every year, with pressure being added by agriculture, business, and substantial residential usage. With more areas struggling under droughts, conserving water is more important than ever. Even if one is not living in a drought-stricken region, cutting back on water use lowers our utility bill and conserves our precious resource.
Right now our efficiency is less than 40%. It is one of the poorest in the world. We need to get smart to basically improve our efficiency. So most of our water is used for irrigation. Right now the technologies that are being introduced in irrigation is from open canals we are going to underground pipelines. So what it does is you don't require land for land acquisition, and secondly there are less of evaporation losses and transmission losses. Similarly, in drinking water and other schemes, we are going for SCADA system, which are very smart systems. Slowly there are new technologies emerging, and we are getting water smartly to people.
There are simple ways to conserve water. We can reuse water. For instance, after washing vegetables, it can be used to water plants and gardens. Water drained from RO filters at home can be used for mopping the floor. Rainwater harvesting systems in our houses and locality can fight water shortage. In 2017, the Tamil Nadu Agricultural Development was encouraging farmers to cultivate less water-intensive crops like millets and pulses, as the state was facing a severe drought. Compared to refined grains like rice and wheat, millets are nutritionally and ecologically superior. They do well in poor soils with low irrigation and zero chemical inputs. These crops can grow in poor soil conditions and need lesser water. As against the requirement of 5,000 litres of water to grow a kilogram of rice, millets need hardly 250 to 300 litres. Another way to reduce water shortage is not to leave your taps running while brushing. Aerators save nearly 35 to 40% of water a minute when compared to normal taps. Besides, they don't require a plumber and can easily be fitted to a tap, thus dispensing lesser water. Composting, a process in which wet garbage is converted into manure, can also help save some money. With gardening increasingly becoming popular in the urban setup, water usage in homes with plants has also increased. By using one's own manure, less water will be required. Synthetic ingredients contaminate water bodies and affect marine life. Ditch those conventional home care and personal products for eco-friendly ones. Collect your clothes and do the laundry when washing machine is fully loaded. This can help a great deal in saving precious water. Even if you have a bath for 5 minutes, you have used 35 litres of water during a bath. Try to bathe with 1 bucket of water, which roughly stores 12 to 18 litres. You can also install water-saving shower heads to cut down 80% of your water usage and reduce energy consumption. Don't use the toilet as an ashtray or waste basket. Put plastic bottles or a float booster in your toilet tank. Buy an adjustable toilet flapper. Install low or dual flush models. Install composting toilets. Apart from this, check for leakages in the house.
The moment we start thinking that every drop of water which is going out from house is a life-supporting drop, like a polio drop, and every drop of water which is going out from your house through your drain ultimately going to create problem for the rivers which ultimately you drink. So we need to find out solution for water pollution, and that solution can only be achieved when you treat your wastewater.
Saving water at home does not require any significant cost outlay. The bulk of water-saving methods can be achieved at little cost. By using water-saving features, you can reduce your in-home water use by 35%. This means the average household which uses 130,000 gallons per year could save 4,400 gallons of water per year. On a daily basis, the average household using 350 gallons per day could save 125 gallons of water per day. The average individual currently using 70 gallons per day could save 25 gallons of water per day. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Today, nearly 1 billion people have no access to pure drinking water. The lack of water is a serious and worrisome sign, not only for human society, but also for the environment. What is the root of this crisis and how can we combat it? Let's find answers in our next report.
Water is one of the most precious resources needed for the survival of mankind. With a growing demand for water, there is a bigger need to conserve it. The proper management of water can be done by conserving land and forest, preserving groundwater, proper utilization of ponds and lakes, construction of check or temporary dams on small water bodies, and by keeping water pollution free. Water purification is also a solution for water conservation. Impure water can be consumed through microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, and reverse osmosis techniques. Groundwater and surface water can be purified by adopting nanotechnology method. 85% rainwater flows into oceans through rivers. But if this 85% is allowed to seep into earth, it could have two benefits. First, floods will reduce and the groundwater level will increase. The quality of groundwater would also improve significantly and its refilling capacity, also known as groundwater recharge, can be increased.
So we have to see that when you have a lot of rain, how we can keep those water and store those water. Because rain might not be problem in India, but what would be the problem? Rain will come in a shorter span, lot of rain in shorter span. So everybody, you have a lot of water, but after some time, that water will become in flood and it will become misery. So you need to understand that how we keep your water, store your water. Restoring water becomes very, very important, and therefore green cover plays very important role. As you see, DD has created network of six biodiversity parks in Delhi, which covers about 2,000 acres area. And if you create this sort of 3-story forest along with grassland and wetland, probably this would be one of the finest example and functional model to be replicated anywhere else, which can help you in mitigating climate change and store a lot of water.
One of the simplest methods to conserve water is rainwater harvesting. To accumulate rainwater, the depth of wells and tube wells should be fixed. As a standard, the depth of wells and tube wells should be 400 feet. Water is essential for agriculture. Attempts to popularize drip and sprinkler systems for irrigation must be made. In mountainous areas, groundwater level can be increased by adopting artificial recharging techniques. Artificial recharge is a process by which excess surface water is directed into the ground. Spreading basins, recharge pits and shafts, ditches, recharge wells, subsurface dams, farm ponds and check dams are some of the top methods of groundwater recharge. The problem of water scarcity can be avoided by monitoring water, efficient management and advanced techniques. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So even as ordinary citizens, we can all contribute towards bringing safe water to families in need. The global vision and goals towards sustainable development may be ambitious, but with our participation, it is certainly achievable. So let's all take a pledge to save and conserve water in whatever little ways we can. That's it from us today in India. You can also watch our episodes online on YouTube and Twitter and send us your valuable feedback and suggestions. Thank you very much for your time.